Are we doing this? Just maybe. Well, welcome to the experiment, nobody. Let's see if we can do this. Gotta do it on this one too. Trying a little bit of everywhere. Okay. Hello, hello. Live, doing it live. That's a thing the algorithms want. Well, the algorithms get it. Oh my gosh. TikTok's asking for facial age recognition. That's maybe gonna hurt my pride. Let's find out. Place my face in here. The T in TSA is for TikTok. Okay, age confirmed. Cool. We're live. Yeah, so we're doing it. This is the first time I haven't hidden behind expert commentary and thinking in best practices of a communications expert that has always learned to moderate the message, because someone's gonna grab this in 5 years and it's gonna bite me in the tush, So, I am Josh Burstein. I worked my whole career in politics, new media strategy for that Obama guy, in the administration, digital strategy for equal pay, paid leave, not screwing over the middle class. Just every even numbered October been in battleground states, mainly Wisconsin, trying to get people to give a darn about these elections. And it sent me to stand-up comedy, to finally be taken seriously for once. So most of the stuff you see on my pages are trying to help you sleep a little better at night while serving you a little bit of information and chuckles. That would be the goal. Try and reach to the furthest middle. Try and not just, inflame and outrage, which is why I'm not debating Charlie Kirk on this particular podcast just yet. Hey, Jamie, thanks for coming out. You've inspired me. I'm opening the phone lines for some free, good political consultation. Ask me anything. Anything you want to know about how Democrats could suck a little less on the internet. If you've got yourself a campaign, if you're thinking about running for something, if you just kind of want to know how things are done under the hood, I'm here to reveal all, or at least sit here for 20 minutes until the algorithm tells people to look at my other videos. So, Jamie, but I guess also if you need any workout tips, go to Jamie Seltzer. He's really been thriving. And until I get a question, I kind of just thought I'd read from Rules for Radicals. Just have something here, filibuster. These lives take a while to build, that is for sure. I don't expect anyone to come here, so that's why I'm just giving you the audiobook right now until I get a copyright infringement from Saul Alinsky. But the purpose, the life of man upon earth is a warfare. Job 7-1. What follows is for those who want to change the world from what it is to what they believe it should be. The Prince was written by Machiavelli for campaign consultants to learn from, and for the haves to hold on to power. Rules for Radicals is written for the have-nots on how to take it away. In this book, before it's burned under martial law, we are concerned with how to create mass organizations to seize power and give it to the people. To realize the democratic dream of equality, justice, peace, cooperation, equal and full opportunities for education, full and useful employment, health, and the creation of those circumstances in which man can have the chance to live by values that give meaning to life. We are talking about a mass power organization which will change the world into a place where all men and women walk erect. Keep your head out of the gutter. In the spirit of that credo of the Spanish Civil War, better to die on your feet than live on your knees. This means revolution. Oh my. Am I going to get canceled on my first live? The significant changes in history have been made by revolutions. I'll just say it like Bernie or something so it doesn't flag. There are people who say that it is not revolutions, but evolution that brings about change. But evolution is simply the term used by non-participants to denote a particular sequence of revolutions as they synthesize into a specific major social change. In this book that Josh is reading, I propose certain general observations, prepositions, and concepts of the mechanics of mass movements and the various stages of the cycle of action and reaction in revolution. This is not an ideological book except insofar as argument for change, rather than for status quo. It can be called an ideology. Different people in different places, in different situations, and different times will construct their own solutions and symbols of salvation for those times. This book will not contain any panacea, sorry, or dogma, which was now available in theaters after 20 years of being held under Weinstein. So congrats to Kevin Smith. Dogma is the enemy of human freedom. Dogma must be watched for and apprehended at every turn and twist of the revolutionary movement. The human spirit glows from that small inner light of doubt whether we are right, while those who believe with complete certainty that they possess the right are dark inside and darken the world outside with cruelty, pain, and injustice. Those who enshrine the poor or have-nots are as guilty as other dogmatists and just as dangerous. To diminish the danger that ideology will deteriorate into dogma, and to protect the free, open, questing, and creative mind of man, as well as to allow for change. No ideology should be more specific than that of America's founding fathers for the general welfare. Hi, Armin. Thanks for coming by. Thank you. Thank you. Niels Bohr, the great atomic physicist. How long can I go with this voice? Admirably stated, the civilized position on dogmatism. Ask away with questions anytime. Every sentence I utter must be understood not as an affirmation, but as a question. I will argue that man's hopes lie in the acceptance of the great law of change. That a general understanding of the principles of change will provide clues for rational action and awareness of the realistic relationship between means and ends and how to determine the other. I hope that these pages will contribute to the education of radicals of today against the 1%, of the 2%, of the 3%, of the 82%, and to the conversion of hot, emotional, impulsive passions that are impotent and frustrating to actions that will be calculated, purposeful, and effective. An example of the political insensitivity of many of today's so-called radicals and the lost opportunities is found in the account of an episode during the trial of the Chicago 7, which is a pretty entertaining Sorkin movie if you didn't check that out. Borat does a really good job in it. Over the weekend, some 150 lawyers, all from parts all over the country, had gathered in Chicago to picket the federal building in protest against Judge Hoffman's arrest of the 4 lawyers. This delegation, which was supported by 13 members of the faculty of Harvard Law School, and which included a number of other professors as well, submitted a brief as friend of the court, which called Judge Hoffman's actions a travesty of justice, which threatens to destroy the confidence of the American people in the entire judicial process. By 10 o'clock, the angry lawyers had begun to march around Federal Building, where they were joined by hundreds of students, several Black Panthers, one T'Challa, and 100 or more blue-helmeted Chicago police. Shortly before noon, about 40 of the picketing lawyers carried their signs into the lobby of the Federal Building, despite the notice posted on the glass wall beside the entrance and signed by Judge Campbell forbidding such demonstrations within the building. Hardly had the lawyers entered, however, then Judge Campbell himself descended to the lobby dressed in his black robes and accompanied by a marshal, a stenographer, and his court clerk, surrounded by the angry lawyers who were themselves encircled by a ring of police, federal marshals, ICE. The judge proceeded to hold court then and there. He announced that unless the pickets withdrew immediately, he would charge them with contempt. This time he warned there were no question that their contempt would occur in the presence of the court and would thus be subject to summary punishment. No sooner had he made this announcement, however, than a voice from the throng shouted, "F you, Campbell." After a moment of tense silence, followed by a cheer from the crowd and a noticeable stiffening among the police, Judge Campbell himself withdrew. Then the lawyers, too, left the lobby and rejoined the picket on the sidewalk. That is from Jason Epstein's The Great Conspiracy Trial, Random House, 1970. Go to your local library and check that out, because that is a great public service that taxpayer dollars support. And, if you haven't downloaded Libby yet, there is really no reason to have just about anything else. You can go utilize your public library for audiobooks. You can get some comic books. You can get some great Blu-rays. Really hidden gem there if you haven't checked it out in a while. Anyway, I could read for forever, but I'd rather answer some questions. Unfortunately, I'm talking to myself for the most part. And I guess this is why people are going insane and living by themselves, surrounded by no one, having relationships exclusively online. It's too hot to be outside, which is why I thought this might be a fine day to start whatever this is. Yeah. Shuya, how do you pronounce your name? Shuya. I'm here to be an entertainer. This is open mic night. I'm used to doing some tight fives. I'm used to going out into the purplest parts of America, talking about infrastructure, making a couple dick and fart jokes, and then, getting them to understand that climate change is real and happening, and it's not a red or blue issue. Would really love to depoliticize our melting Earth. Not trying to be too urgent about it, but, weather's getting weirder. No one denies temperature weirding, it's been a rough summer for everybody. And we just want to make sure people have resources for when flash floods happen, for when the University of Miami has to move to Wyoming, stuff like that. And I'm trying this on just about every platform at once, with the expectation one of them will reward me. But I am curious if anyone likes to experience this on one streaming platform more than another. The only other time I've done this sort of free advice of expert political consultation, which can, keep presidential campaigns still in debt, if they pay enough of us for bad ad buys during NCIS and just bloated budgets up the wazoo and not investing in infrastructure and the ground game that is really needed. I did this on the beaches of Venice once. I just put up a little card table and offered that. Anyone that walked up got themselves a little lemonade version of advice. Advice from somebody who they probably should be taking advice from, but has a varied experience and has done things at the highest levels of politicking and knows all the old white dudes who are responsible for maybe saving us from this that I can't say I have a whole lot of confidence in. So I would love to inspire some people here, or at least empower them with a couple tools that they didn't know that they had, or encourage them to go to Josh 15 and get yourself something sponsored. Josh 15 works just about anywhere. You can get some soup dumplings under Josh 15 from Mila. You want to try some supplements instead of your Adderall habits? You can go to Thesis. Yeah, I could plug some stuff. Casper mattresses. I don't have anything with them yet, but that feels like a gateway to getting to the big time of podcasts. So I would recommend my bet. I actually have no idea what kind of bet I have, but if you go to Josh 15, just start plugging them away. Good luck with that. Well, this is it. This is the live experience. I also could play video games. I'm pretty good at that. Or I could talk about fantasy football picks. When I say AMA, I'm talking horse-sized ducks. I mean, I would like to get granular and have a constructive conversation about the state of play of how we, can have some success these midterms and lessen the fresh hells of every day we're having currently. But that's up to you guys and the almighty algorithm that might be continually suppressing me, also because I don't have a specific brand and have just been kind of all over the place my whole life, or living in the shadows and fealty to campaigns because the attention shouldn't have been on me. It was supposed to be about this Barack Obama guy who was a great boss. But now everybody's just trying to make their way onto MSNBC. So this is where it all goes down, right? All right, callers. I'm going to say this was a good first effort. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to push this workout a little harder because it's been 17 minutes. Well, big question I got here in the 11th hour. But is there something practical and actionable people alone at home can do as we watch this capital turn into a military state under martial law, like a Gerard Butler movie? Feels like everyone's getting twitchier, and that's not in reference to the streams. Yeah. I think Mayor Bowser said herself, Mayor of DC, that there's not really much you can do. I think even more so, this was the front court easiest bank shot for this administration to do this overreach, because taxation without representation, literally, DC has to get its budgets approved by Congress, which is wild. It is larger than 5 states in population, I believe. But yeah, I think as far as DC goes, it is tough. Other than honor those curfews, and they're gonna find whatever excuses they can, especially when there's nothing happening right now. This is invented problems, so that they can justify maybe bigger overreaches when it comes to elections in November, right? So I would suggest, things are going to get worse before they get better. That's just sort of across the board. My expectation at home is be vigilant, record things, show if you see something, documentation that is irrefutable. If you are seeing this stuff, to help build that collective case that this was a total unnecessary waste of time, resources, fear-mongering, did not make us safer. I would continue to educate people that violent crime has been down 30% last year in DC. It was a further 26% down this year so far. So there is nothing to justify this. There was nothing to justify the California one. Honestly, in LA, you could be 3 blocks away and you wouldn't have known what was going on. And so it is finding ways to share with the people that might be persuadable, might be looking the other way, might activate if they knew just how clear and present a danger this is. Um, so I don't think that there's any amount of alarmism right now. It's like, dude's a level 1 boss battle who's been telegraphing all of his plays, and we still can't stop it. So if we're not stepping it up our engagement a notch, wherever you are in the ladder, then this is definitely a wake up call. And feel for it if you're over there in the DC area having to endure, but stay strong and be ready to organize and be loud in the street the right way. Hope that helps. I mean, again, there's no easy answers. There's no panacea right now, but it's really just a tough time in America, and he wants to make people miserable in blue cities. That's sort of the game. Drag everyone down with him. I think the second Zoran takes over in New York, we won't have a breath for him to try and enact anything fun, because it's going to be kind of coming from bureaucrats in Albany. It's going to be fun police there, and it's going to be real, literal raids from our friends in DC. And so having to navigate that in New York is really going to make a huge pivot. So that's what I'm looking for coming here from you in Brooklyn. I think what they're looking for are case studies and excuses to say, like, oh, like, the history of all time, and then that justifies suppressing the vote with you get the gist. I think in this one, it's like, don't give them the excuses, and make sure in the same level of fandom you might have for your sports team, like, show up for your city. Time's coming right now. And that's a lot of work. But, like, in a lot of other parts of the world, you got people out in the streets every other day, full populations, making people understand that they're not satisfied with their leaders, and that's not representative of them. Yeah. Appreciate you. Thanks for asking the question, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Anything else? I like to be a grieving optimist. I like to give you something constructive. I think my area of expertise is more in the launch strategies, in the building movements, right? Helped March for Our Lives. All the Parkland students was doing their digital comms for that crazy 2-3 week sprint, and at the same time, that's one of those where you're like, we made the largest gathering, youth movement history of all time, and I'll take my small little bit of credit on that. But what happened, right? Like, what kind of actions are we actually going to get out of our leaders? And so, unfortunately, we don't get to do much until we have power again, until we have checks on power. This is what he's doing in terms of overreach when he has Congress within margin. I don't know what happens when he just decides to fully not listen to us. But the best we can do to actually shift levers of power is make our blue strongholds, a stronghold for good ideas and good people, and just show the model of how the U.S. can work better. It's actually one of the big reasons I'm really bullish on Illinois. I think when you got a guy like Pritzker in there showing what a Midwest, very, very red place other than Chicago, I think that can really be the gold standard in the next couple of years of what leadership can look like. Every governor is basically the president of their state, and they have a very strong coalition there with Whitmer and Evers and Minnesota as well. So good neighbors as well to just sort of see what happens when people actually can get in lockstep and cooperate and share resources and start, march on the same beat, right? Do we have any other questions? Otherwise, I just ramble on tangents, but yeah. Well, I'd say this was a fine first offering. I'm going to try and do some more free, good political advice from time to time. Get your questions ready, and I hope this encourages people to give a darn a little more and not tune out the news because that's what they want you to do. So stay great, stay strong, and watch some more of my silly stuff. But thanks for giving this a shot.